Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray, family, that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving in a brand new way in this brand new season. We have closed out the book of life, family, although Babylon will want us to think that it's business as usual. Nothing has changed. Everything is just as the way it is. But we're seeing the glitches in the matrix, and how you identify the glitches in the matrix, family, is stories where we win, stories where we overcome the narrative and tell the truth of a situation instead of always it being spun to make Babylon look good. Because Babylon spins every single narrative, family, to make them look good. And I was even thinking, okay, on a total side note, family, this show, this movie that just came out, Sound of Freedom. I was thinking about that, how even in that, the Mzungu made himself the hero. Even in that, family, when we know the situation, that those are stories for other days. Special shout out to everyone that supports us on Patreon and sends us love donations through PayPal. You guys are the reason we're 5 years strong, despite being demonetized by YouTube. And actually, the reason we've even revived this channel is because there's been heavy shadow banning on our news stories on our secondary channel, Dr. Mumbi Spiritual Show. So we're just going to keep that channel for spiritual information, ascension information, awakening information that relates to you and yours and, the future. But Babylon is falling, family. And I feel it's important for us to pinpoint how the narrative is changing. Things like this would never have happened. And that leads me to today's story, family. It was really, actually, this happened at the end of July, but it's still important. It's still a good one. So the BRICS, BRICS is up and coming. It's the new organization that's going to threaten, the global hegemony of like the G7 nations or the divided states and everything, the ones who control the United Nations, the former colonialists, let's just put it like that. And it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And so Ramaphosa actually sent out invitation to 70 countries that to the major summit that's happening, I think this month or end of this month, I'm not sure, but it's happening very soon. And Macron actually expressed interest in attending, but he was not issued with an invitation. Both France's Macron was not issued with an invitation. Biden of the divided states was not issued with a statement. And while the South Africans haven't come out and said, hey, yeah, we are not inviting them, we're not inviting Macron, they just didn't get the invite. So you make of it what you will. But the interesting thing is, of course, Putin had to throw in his 2 cents. And he was talking about how Macron would be a hostile guest to have, or an uncomfortable guest invitee to the conference because of the whole hostile stance that they take around the world. And the thing is, family, even less than 10 years ago, this is Errol, my co-host, even 10 years ago, family, there is no way, I could even say even 5 years ago, there is no way a so-called superpower or a neo-colonialist nation, president, would have said they wanted to come somewhere and they don't get an invitation. It would never have happened. They would have blackmailed, they would have done this, they would have done that. And this is another sign, family, of how the Babylon narrative is breaking and how the stronghold on the group consciousness is falling, family. I've been talking for so long about how it's not so much about what we do physically, because we live in a mental reality. And the way Babylon hijacked the world is they hijacked the consciousness and the memory of the world. And then they brainwashed and whitewashed everything. And they literally make themselves the heroes, the Superman, the Superwomen, the leaders, the ones who are doing good, the ones who are doing aid. They have twisted every story like a snake salesman or what, snake oil salesman. Is that what they say? They have twisted every story to make themselves good when they were actually one of the main problems of why the motherland has not progressed as we should have. And so for Macron to be denied an invitation to BRICS is further indication as well, family, that the end of the French neocolonial agenda is nigh or is already here. And maybe it took generals to liberate us. But the one thing I'd say, family, as conscious participants in the narratives of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, the one way we can help is not to always say, "Oh, but they'll come back." I really get so frustrated when I see such comments in the discourse, family, because it's like you're easily giving your power away, and then even you're becoming an enemy of us because of the way you're thinking. Let's root for an alternative narrative. Let's put our energy behind the fact that this will be, or this is, the liberation of French Africa from the French colonial and neo-colonial system, which has been the most brutal. And if you trace back this whole French onslaught, family, you'll see it began with the exposure when the narrative started to go round of how African nations, former French colonies, were still paying tax, family, to the French government 20, 30 years after colonialism had ended. And, the presidents were probably getting their share. Everything was probably, and France is still producing the money. I know some of you guys said that, but we've been fighting this verbally and mentally since, because so many people continuously talk about this, family. So in your prayers, in your aspirations for the motherland, see a win for what is happening in West Africa and project a positive outcome, because our minds have so much more power than we realize. And especially a lot of you who are connected to my channel and are already on 5, 6, 7, 7D reality, just because you're in a more sophisticated mental space. Your positive vibes have a massive, massive impact. And that's probably something I'll cover on my secondary channel, Dr. Mumbi's Spiritual Show. Be sure to check that you're still subscribed here, family. We've somehow lost 3,000 subscribers. Of course, Babylon was just doing this. Make sure also to subscribe to our secondary channel, Dr. Mumbi's Spiritual Show, and consider supporting the channel through either a love donation or by joining our Patreon, where there are many more videos that we don't have on either of these platforms, family. Until next time, TUKO, PAMOJA.